He was taking it's so soothing and appealing to me. It goes jada, 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 jing, jing, jing.
Here, I really think this is a true testament of Dad's upbeat attitude and positive outlook. It kind of draws people in. Uncle Bob, Scott, Mark, Stuart, Doug, Gordon, and Karen, we're so touched that you're all here with us today to be here to support Mom and to honor Dad. It means a lot to us. So I want to say a few words about this past Thanksgiving. Lee was in town visiting, and we were all sitting around the dining room table getting ready to have our Thanksgiving feast. We were taking turns going around the table and saying what we were thankful for. And when it came to Dad's turn, he started talking about the first house that he and Mom had lived in. And then he moved on to the second house that they had lived in, and then on to the next house. And with each house, he would talk about the job he had there, or which daughter was born there, or a vacation we had taken then. So this went on for quite a while because we lived in quite a few places. And the rest of us were looking around, kind of wondering when Dad was going to wrap it up. Because Dalton, his grandson, hadn't had his turn yet. By the time Dad had started to wind it up and was getting up to the present day with his story, we had almost finished our dinner. When he finished, I asked him, "So Dad, what are you thankful for?" And Dad, very matter-of-factly said, "All of it." When Dad became ill this past few months, I kept thinking back to that night around the dining room table. And I think, what a great life this man has lived. And how great it is that he was thankful for all of it and lived it to the fullest. So I just want to say that day after day, I am just thankful to have had a positive, strong, fun, supportive, patient, kind, and loving, wonderful father like Dad. He will be sorely missed.
I'm Stu Dance, named after my Uncle Stuart. He was born in 1929, and even as a kid, Uncle Stu was affable and extroverted. 5 years later, in 1934, his brother and my father, Robert Dance, was born. Dad is a quiet introvert. God did this, no doubt, to restore balance to the universe. And in the process, he gave 2 brothers to each other. We all grew up hearing stories our parents tell us. This is one Dad has told a few times, and it's a favorite. Dad has written it down, so now I'd like to share it with you. My brother Stuart was always the fun person in our family, with his wonderful smile, positive attitude, and friendly sense of enjoyment. Even as a young boy, he had these traits, and echoing an old smothered brother's routine, he was my mother's favorite and my father's, deservedly so. By the way, he also was my favorite and taught me many things as we grew up together throughout the world. In the 1930s, our parents often traveled the world by ocean liner. Our father was in the international tobacco business, and both of us had traveled the world several times at a very young age. As you know, Stuart was born in Constantinople, Turkey. Very few aircraft spanned the oceans at this time, and the slow process of ocean liners was a joy for us all. During one of these trips, I was probably no more than 3 years old, and Stuart was around 8. One day, Stuart strapped on his life jacket, strapped on mine also, for a walk around the decks to see what we could see, perhaps a whale, an iceberg, or an island of cannibals. Stuart had a sense of adventure and obviously did not inform our parents that we were taking a stroll. Mind you, the life jacket was larger than I was, and I resembled a walking life jacket. Later, after an alarming passage of time, my parents realized that we were not to be found in the cabin and had disappeared at sea. Eventually, Stuart returned alone to our cabin and delightfully told my parents that the crew had thrown Bobby overboard. After a few moments of pure panic, my parents heard a faint knock on the cabin door, and it opened, and there stood a walking life jacket. My mother asked me how in the world I had found my way back to the cabin, and I told her I had smelled my way back. Years later, I strongly suspect that fun-loving Stuart had plotted the whole affair and rehearsed me when to knock and what to say when the door had opened. Stuart kept this sense of humor and fun for his entire life and will always be remembered for that wonderful smile. I'm sure his beautiful wife Jean, daughters Kim, Lee, Susie, and Jody will always recall that bouncing ukulele delightfully playing in the next room.
I really think Daddy would be so happy right now to be hearing all these stories. I'm Lee Dance. I think I've been introduced a couple times, so I'm one of the daughters. For those of you who don't know, when Dad died just a little over a week ago, my mom and Kim and Susie and Jody were all, and I were all right there beside him. And we will always be grateful for that. You know that Stu Dance was the embodiment of a gentle man. I don't think there's ever a better word for a better description of a gentleman than Dad. One side of him that you may not know so much about is how he was as a father. And I thought I'd briefly share a few comments about that. When Stu Dance is the first man you encounter and the man you know best for the first few chapters of your life, it raises the bar pretty high for any other man in your life. I mean, who could beat out our dad for love, affection, humor, generosity, and just tons of fun? No one knows this better than Carl, Kim's husband of more than 25 years. Where's Carl? He's hearing the sound. Or my husband Aldo, or Jody's beau Joe. And he completely won them over too. So in many ways he raised us as boys, teaching us how to fish, how to shoot, how to drive a tractor, do the yard work, move logs, pile logs, move furniture. But he also was the first to compliment us as girls and always shared his pride in our efforts and in our looks. And I was thinking on my way over here that I should apologize out loud to Daddy for not coming here with a short haircut. He just always he always said, Lily, you look just like the cat's meow. It just would be so nice if you could cut your hair short. I just loved the short haircut. Everybody thought I was a boy the whole way through my years growing up. But he would say when Mom and Dad were heading out to a party, he'd turn to us girls and say, Mom's all dolled up tonight. Doesn't she look like $1 million? All sorts of things like that all of us know, the sort of compliments that Dad gave us, not just for achievement, but a ton for effort. For years, when Daddy wanted to get us to do something, he had a funny way of phrasing it. He used to say to us, when I was a little girl, I always ate all my peas. Or when I was a little girl, I stood up really straight. And from a very young age, like 3 years old, I took this really seriously. So I truly thought he had once been a girl. In fact, it made me think that maybe all boys start out as girls. He was our dad and we were just girls. It took me years to figure out that he was teasing. I must have been at least 10 years old. And before that, I just quietly always wondered how Dad had made that sure. Dad got us into sports. We all learned to snow and water ski with him holding us between his legs, giving us that extra stability and cheering us on. Out on the lake with the McPhersons, out on the bay of Avalon with the McPhersons, and on the ski slope here at Tussey Mountain. He was so encouraging that sometimes when I was a teenager it was a bit annoying. I remember playing doubles tennis with them in high school, and when my serve would go about 5 feet over the line, Dad would say, "That was great form, Lily, just a hair too long." I've gone through life with Dad's wonderful sayings in my ears. He had many, and I use them every day. His deeds, his melodies, and his words live in me and in each of his daughters. While my mother and father are two very distinct individuals, they were so much a unit throughout our lives. Mom is always right there with him in my memories, inspiring Dad as he inspired her. I'm sure many of you see it that way too. Gina and Stu, Grandma and Poppy, Aunt Jeannie and Uncle Stu. They lit up the room. They were, and will remain in our minds, an extraordinary couple. One of my dad's favorite songs was "Be My Life's Companion," which was made famous by the Mills Brothers. You may remember the words, "Be my life's companion and you'll never grow old." I think we could all see that in Gina and Stu's romance, their love and tenderness never did grow old. It is hard to imagine what a great adjustment it will be for our amazing mother, Jean, to live day-to-day life without him. In Dad's final hours, we kept reassuring him that we would make sure that Mom was in good hands, that we'd be right beside her, that she would be just fine. And we hope and invite each of you here to help us fulfill that promise.
One of Stu and Jean's granddaughters, or as I call them, Poppy, and I was asked to read something that I'd written for him after he passed. The world got a little darker when we lost this strong man. I'll always remember the Walla Walla whiskey, the How About Them Apples, the ukulele playing, the owl carving, and so much more. I'll never forget the last dance, Mountain Acres, Avalon, and the log cabin. But more than anything, I'll remember the way you loved this family. The way you lit up a room and taught us how to appreciate the little moments in life. Your positivity, your strength, your bravery, your respect will outlast time. And I'm proud to say, with absolute honor, that I'm your granddaughter. You are and forever will be my hero. The world is a better place now that you have lived. You've brought us all together this weekend from all over the world to celebrate the wonderful life you lived. Take a look down on all the people you've touched, all the lives that you've changed. It's in your memory that we come together as a family, not to be sad that we lost you, but to be happy and thankful and blessed that we had you. We miss you and love you more than time can tell. Know that you left your family behind, knowing all we need to know and showing us how to love and live. Rest in peace, Poppy. There's really no such thing as goodbye. It's just to see you later.
I'm Kip. I'm one of the grandchildren, the eldest grandchild. Japan is sometimes called the land of the rising sun, and from the time the sun rose on young Stuart Lee Dance during his childhood in Tokyo, he soaked it in and reflected it back to everyone around him. Such brightness would persist unset for 85 years over the course of a tumultuous American century, a family born of love, and a life lived to the fullest. From his birthplace in Constantinople, Turkey, to his childhood in Japan, to the raising of his family across some of America's most treasured homesteads, Cromwell State College, to the Intercoastal Waterway, to the rolling hills of Happy Valley, to the wooded mountains of Pennsylvania, to sandy beaches and salt air boardwalks of the Jersey Shore, the sun rose again many times. It rose in Springhaven, Pennsylvania in 1952 on his marriage to then Jean McGladdery. It rose on Kansas City in 1955 on the day he ceased to be known only as Stu Dance and became also known as Daddy with the birth of his first child, Kimberly Dance, my mother. And it rose on Chicago in 1987 with the birth of his first grandchild, and another moniker was soon added to his repertoire, as I would be the first to call him Poppy. Across the sands of space and time, there was never a bike ride left untaken, an expanse of ocean left untraversed, a jigsaw puzzle left incomplete, a jelly-filled donut left uneaten, a basement woodshop left untended, a song left unsung, or a cocktail left unfinished. Never a moment of life left unlived. Poppy's story is of a life well lived, a well-beaten trail into unknown woods, a worn strap of leather made more durable by age. On June 23rd, 2014, the sun set, and that richness of life made the last great journey from embodiment in a person to a persistence of the soul, living and breathing in all of us, a piece as much us as him that we will always carry. It is never an easy journey and more taxing still for those of us left behind, all of us who have not yet joined him. But with it comes the great gift of a soul's persistence in each one of us, to hold close and grip tight in our darkest hours and our finest moments. The legacy he leaves for me is to make the most of the 26 years he has so far afforded me, the time during which I have known him in life, and the eternity for which we will all henceforth remember him in our hearts, in our memories, and in our toasts with good bourbon amongst those we love. And on the day after June 23rd, the sun still rose, and I know he wants all of us to enjoy it, for him and with him. Requiem in Terra Pax. I love you, Poppy, now and always. Thank you.
Ding ding ding, cha-da, 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 ding ding ding. It's a funny little bit of melody. It's so soothing and appealing to me. It goes cha-da, 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 ding ding ding. I said jing.
Stu and Jeannie, 60 years ago their courtship reached a peak, and they found their happiness to be complete. So they tied a knot while dancing cheek to cheek. Acres, mountain acres, is the place we often see them Turkey Week, where they bring us all together for a treat. And we sing and join them dancing cheek to cheek. Oh, they love to make some music on the uke. There's high technique, and it might just thrill them half as much as dancing cheek to cheek. Oh, their family is amazing, lots of talent, rather chic. They sing, tell jokes, play poker too, while dancing cheek to cheek. Jean and Stu, we wish the best for you both. You're blessed and betrothed, a beautiful oath. Cousins, female cousins. There are Kim and Lee and Susie, Jody too. Also known as the girls of Jeannie and Stu. What a lovely group to be related to. This is the dance interlude. This is a little interlude. You feel this? No, it isn't. Here we go. Jean and Stu, we wish the best for you both. You're blessed and betrothed, a beautiful oath. Studi, Jean and Studi. 60 years ago you had yourselves a ball. A more loving couple we cannot recall. So a happy anniversary, a happy anniversary, a happy anniversary from us all.
See the sun is shining, bye, bye, blues. I'm saying bye, bye, blues. Clouds will rain and birds will sing. Stop your hoping, keep on hoping. Stu and me. See
Here comes the ball. You ready? Ready? I got along without you before. I bet you're gonna get along without you now. I found somebody much better than you and never loved you anyhow. You ran around with every boy on town. You'll never know how we got me down. I got along without you before. I bet you're gonna get along without you now. Wahoo, my honey, wahoo, my honey, wahoo.